Hey, welcome back to my shop. In this episode, we're going to go ahead and finish up the drill press table. I'm doing some last minute checks here, making sure everything fits. I'm making sure that this bottom plate is symmetrical with the table. I'm going to go ahead and mark its position so I can get it back exactly where it needs to be. I'm going to drill through holes in all these positions to allow for the shank of the screw to pass through easily. I'm going to use the countersink to take the rough edges off the bottom, and then I'm going to countersink for the head of the screw. Just going to make sure nothing's sticking out on the bottom so this lays flat, and I'm going to go ahead and line it up. I'm going to drill pilot holes here. I want to make sure everything sits nice and flat, and by doing this, pretty sure I won't chip out the particle board. I'm going to go ahead, drive the screws home. Okay, I realized that I just goofed up. I forgot to drill the through holes that will allow for the shank of the hand screw that goes and attaches this table to the drill press table. I'm going to go ahead and back out the screws, and I'll go ahead and drill those holes. I've had this drill press for about 6 years now, and this is the first time this has ever happened. I can't drill the hole because the reach of the drill press is not far enough to get to the hole. So I'm going to have to go ahead and drill it by hand. A quick check to make sure I drilled the hole deep enough and that these will screw all the way down. I drilled a countersink to help the shank of the hand screw enter the hole easier from underneath the table. I can go ahead and screw it back down. I attach it to the table to see how everything fits. Looks like we're pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and trace the metal table of the drill press to the new table I'm building. This will help me line it up easier. I'm at the joiner and I'm going to true up this fence assembly. I've never really ran particle board across the joiner, so I decided to take it pretty easy. Take very, very light passes. I'm not sure this step was even necessary, but I went and filled the countersink holes so the laminate would lay nice and flat. I figured it didn't hurt. So I made these wooden washers. These are to go underneath the table because of how big the slots are in the metal table. This will help hold it a little better. You can see how they attach here. They'll just help hold it nice and tight. Going ahead and assembling my data stack. I'm basically using the T-track to figure out the height I need. I just head over to the table saw and a scrap piece of particle board. I make some test cuts. Now that everything checked out, I went and cut the datas in the table. It's time to start applying the laminate. So I'm marking the sides because I'm going to start there. I just use a knife to score it and it snaps pretty easily. I use spray adhesive. I spray a little on the piece of laminate and I spray some on the wood. I'm using this box here to kind of act as a shield. Sorry, it kind of blocks your view, but it keeps me from getting glue everywhere. You want to be careful. As soon as you stick this stuff down, it's glued. So you want to go ahead and line it up and then press it down into place. They have special rollers that you can use here. I have one somewhere, but I couldn't find it. But this PVC pipe works just as well. I'm using my router with a laminate bit, and I'm just going around and trimming this flush. I'm also going to apply laminate to the fence, all sides except for the bottom. Take my router and route the edges flush. I want to be careful on what piece of laminate I put where. I want to overlap the edges. This will help stuff from catching, whether I'm walking by the table or the piece is rubbing up and down the fence. The last piece is the piece that faces the work that will be sliding up and down the fence. This is so that it won't catch the edge pieces and pull those off. I went ahead and masked for the top and go ahead and apply some adhesive. All the pieces of laminate are pretty oversized, and the reason being is I had a lot of this laminate left over, but it pretty much ensures that I'll have even coverage and enough room to route around it and get a good piece. Roll it out, get a good bond. I'll go ahead and route out the top. I'll route the edge one more time to do a cleanup pass. I had to go ahead and switch to a different bit here. It was really hard to find a bit that would work and still clear the shallow depth of the dado. I'll go ahead and use a file here. I'll use it to square up the corners and clean up the rough edges. I'll take the file to all the edges. This will neaten them up a little bit and also help prevent catching. Go ahead and measure the T-track so I can cut it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it with a hacksaw instead of my table saw. I can tell you it's because I want to show you multiple ways of doing it, but I really just didn't want to pull the dado stack out of my table saw. I'm going to go ahead and file the edges here, just to help the T-track hardware enter the track a little easier. Plus, it just kind of cleans it up and looks a little nicer. Some T-track comes with pre-drilled holes. This one didn't, so I'm going to go ahead and drill some holes and countersink them. I'm going to lightly use the countersink on the bottom, just enough to take off the burrs. I'm going to use a punch to mark where to drill each pilot hole. I'll go ahead and screw it down. I'm drawing corner to corner here to find the center of the drill press table. I'm going to use a square to draw a line straight back from the center. This is where I'll drill the hole all the way through the table. I'll use a Forstner bit to go down as far as I possibly can. I couldn't get all the way through with the drill press, so I'll just finish it up with the hand drill. I'll ease the edge with a needle file. It helps me get into that round hole. I'll clamp and square up the fence to get ready to drill the mounting hardware. I'll screw it down and I'll mark the position of the hole. I'm going to go ahead and drill a larger hole here than the pilot hole will be, just so I don't catch the laminate with this screw. I'll go ahead and drill a pilot hole. And screw down the bracket. I'll attach the fence to the table so I can check its fit. I'll take it over to the drill press and I'll attach it. Here it is. Here's my drill press table. I'm super happy with it. I was able to use some scraps around the shop. The laminate, the particle board was all left over from a project I did at my parents' house. Bought some stuff, the tracks, the guide, some of the mounting hardware, but it really didn't cost me a whole lot. This was probably the most expensive piece, but I think in a future video, we're going to go ahead and make some work holding, not only for this drill press table, but for the table saw and some other fixtures that we'll make. We can move them around the shop. One of them we'll do is we'll make a flip stop, but a shop-made flip stop, as well as some hold downs and stuff like that. The table's got a lot of room to put clamps and hold pieces down, where the round metal table didn't really have that. The fence will come in handy, and it's easy to get off of here if I need to. So I'm really happy with it. I think it's a good addition to the shop. Till next time.